People often ask if complete spiritual protection is even possible. The reality is that permanent immunity doesn't exist, but maximum resilience does. This is about building a spiritual immune system so strong that problems become rare, weak, and short-lived. I'm going to give you a structured 7-minute daily routine that acts as your foundational shield. This isn't about complex rituals. It's about consistent, authentic practice that builds layered defense. The goal is to make your baseline so high that negative influences simply can't get a foothold. We start each day by setting a powerful intention. The first minute of your day is the most critical. Before you even get out of bed, you set the tone. This is where you build your primary defense layer. The intention, or niyashwaz, is not just a thought. It's a declaration to Allah that your day is for His worship and that you seek His protection. You say, Bismillah, I begin this day seeking refuge in Allah from the accursed shaitan. This aligns your entire being with a protective purpose. Immediately after this, you recite the core protective chapters of the Quran, Surah Al-Falaq and Surah An-Nas. These are not just words, they are divinely prescribed formulas for seeking refuge. Recite them 3 times each. This establishes a spiritual barrier around you. Think of it as putting on armor before you step outside. The third component is Ayat al-Kursi. Reciting this once after Fajr prayer, or as part of this morning routine, places a guardian over you that remains until the evening. This combination, intention, the 2 refuge-seeking surahs, and Ayat al-Kursi, creates a foundational shield that is proactive, not reactive. It's your first and most important line of defense, and it takes less than 2 minutes to establish each morning. This practice is repeatedly highlighted in authentic guidance because it works. It strengthens your heart and creates an environment where negative energies cannot thrive. Your 5 daily prayers, or salat, are not just acts of worship, they are your spiritual reset buttons. Each prayer is an opportunity to cleanse and reinforce your protective layers. The state of ablution, or wudu, required for prayer is itself a purification. As you perform jachna wudu, you are not only cleaning your body, but also symbolically washing away spiritual impurities that may have accumulated. This is why maintaining hatioinu wudu throughout the day is highly recommended. It keeps your spiritual state fresh. When you stand for prayer, you are entering a protected state. The recitations, the bowing, and the prostration all serve to reconnect you with Allah and fortify your spiritual defenses. It's during these moments that your dhikr, your remembrance, is at its peak. The prayers act as scheduled maintenance for the shield you built in the morning. They prevent the slow degradation that can happen throughout the day from exposure to various environments and interactions. If something weakens your protection between prayers, the next prayer session repairs it. This rhythm is crucial. It ensures that your spiritual immunity is not a one-time event, but a continuously renewed state. The consistency of salatish anchors the heart and steadies the mind, making it incredibly difficult for any external negativity to find a stable point of attachment. This disciplined routine is what separates a vulnerable state from a resilient one. The prayers are your anchor, keeping your spiritual ship steady in any storm. This structured approach, morning foundation and prayer-based resets, creates a powerful daily cycle. It's a system of maintenance that requires discipline but yields immense peace and security. The next layer involves specific remembrance practices that act like a strengthening supplement for your spiritual core. As night approaches, your spiritual maintenance shifts from proactive defense to active cleansing. The day's interactions can leave subtle residues, and this evening routine ensures you don't carry that into your rest or the next day. The process begins with a specific supplication before sleep. Recite Ayat al-Kursi. This verse is not just for the morning. It acts as a guardian throughout the night, as mentioned in a hadith that a reciter will have a protector from Allah until morning. Follow this with the last 2 verses of Surah Al-Baqarah. These verses contain immense barakah and protection. This combination creates a purified, protected space for sleep, which is a vulnerable state. Your home also requires this layered defense. Just as you cleanse yourself, your living space needs regular spiritual hygiene. The most effective method is the consistent recitation of the Quran within its walls. The sound of the Quranic verses, especially Surah Al-Baqarah, is known to drive away negative influences. It's not a one-time ritual, but a continuous practice that builds a positive atmosphere. You can also recite Surah Al-Baqarah in its entirety over time, as its barakah fills the home and makes it inhospitable to negativity for 3 days. This turns your home into a sanctuary, a place where your spiritual immunity is constantly reinforced rather than challenged. The evening routine and home protection work together. You cleanse yourself and your environment simultaneously, ensuring that the foundation you build each morning isn't undermined by a contaminated space. This complete cycle, personal and environmental, is what makes the defense system comprehensive and resilient. This entire system relies entirely on consistency. Spiritual immunity is not built in a day, but through the daily repetition of these practices. It functions like a muscle. Neglect leads to weakness, while regular exercise builds strength. The goal is to make this 7-minute routine as habitual as your morning coffee. The moment you treat it as optional is the moment your defenses begin to lower. Watch for clusters of symptoms that might indicate a breach despite your efforts. These are not single isolated events, but patterns. For example, a recurring nightmare is more significant than a random bad dream. A persistent feeling of heaviness or anxiety, specifically when you are at home or about to pray, is a red flag. Unexplained conflicts that arise suddenly and frequently within the household are another sign. Physical symptoms like chronic headaches or fatigue that have no medical explanation and coincide with emotional distress should be noted. These clusters suggest that something may be actively working against your spiritual baseline. When you see these patterns, it does not mean your routine has failed. It means the attack is significant enough to require professional diagnosis alongside your daily maintenance. This is where you would seek a legitimate spiritual evaluation from a knowledgeable practitioner. Your daily practice gives you the clarity to recognize these signs early. It acts as both your first line of defense and your early warning system. Maintenance means being vigilant and understanding that the path to resilience is ongoing. It requires discipline, but the payoff is a life of greater peace and stability, free from the constant fear of spiritual harm. This routine builds a resilient spiritual baseline that makes serious problems rare. For a professional diagnosis, if issues persist, contact us for an evaluation. May Allah grant shifa and protection to all who seek it.